may think eating organic is way healthier for you, but is it really? Organic food sales have risen from $10 billion to over $50 billion in the last 20 years alone. With such popularity and so many nutrition experts claiming that you have to eat organic in order to avoid dangerous chemicals, you may think it's incredibly important to eat organic in order to achieve maximum performance. But what does the research really say? And stick around to the end where I'm gonna give you an exact formula to determine if eating organic should be your top priority. It seems like every package of food claims to be organic. So first, what does organic really mean? For fruits, vegetables, and grains, organic means that they're made with natural fertilizers, eco-friendly pest control, and agricultural practices that protect soil and water from contamination. For meat, dairy, and eggs, organic means that the animal must roam freely outdoors, the farms must protect that animal's welfare, and no growth hormone or antibiotics are used. And for packaged foods, organic means that there are no genetically modified organisms or GMOs, ingredients can be traced from farm to store, and there are no artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives. So why are people claiming that we need to eat organic? Conventional farming uses synthetic pesticides and a wide range of products in order to increase the yield and decrease the amount lost to insects, animals, and weeds. And although there are regulations to limit the amount of these chemicals that are in the food delivered to your table, some food ends up exceeding that limit simply because they just can't test every piece of food. How much? In 2019, a USDA study showed that 99% of foods were under the legal limit and 42.5% of foods had no pesticide residue at all. On the flip side, that means that 57.5% of foods had some kind of pesticides on it and 1% were over that legal limit. To put that into context, let's just say that you had 10 different foods every day. In a year, that's 3,650 pieces of food. 57.5 would be 2,099 pieces of food with pesticides, and 1% is about 36 foods that would be over the legal limit. So what's the downside of consuming these conventionally raised foods? These synthetic pesticides have been linked to cancer of the lymphatic system, infertility, birth defects, metabolic syndrome, and allergies. We'll look at that more later. Conventional foods also tend to have more cadmium, a heavy metal that can damage the nervous system, lungs, kidneys, and more. Certain organic foods may have higher concentrations of certain nutrients such as antioxidants, polyphenols, and differing types of fats. For example, organic beef was found to have the same macronutrient composition, meaning the same amount of fats and proteins as conventional beef. However, organic beef has about 60% more omega-3s than conventional beef. Numbers can be deceiving though, because 60% more means it only had 50 milligrams more of omega-3. According to the NIH, recommended intakes for omega-3 for men is about 1,600 milligrams per day. So will an extra 50 milligrams make a difference? Well, what does the research say about organic's effect on health outcomes? Here's where things get really murky. Many clinical trials that switch conventional foods for organic foods didn't see a significant impact in health outcomes. Some of these studies switched individual foods, whereas some switched the full diet. One study did find a decrease in pesticide metabolites in the urine, but they couldn't find a significant difference in health outcomes despite this difference. It's important to note that these clinical studies were for a limited period of time, such as 12 weeks or 6 months, and switching these foods for a longer period of time may actually be impactful. Long-term observational studies have drawn the link between eating organic and better fertility, less allergies, reduced risk of non-Hodgkin lymphoma, metabolic syndrome, and improved sperm quality. However, these studies also note that people who tend to eat organic also tend to be people who practice other healthy lifestyle behaviors, such as eating more fruits and vegetables, whole grains, fiber, lean proteins, and exercise more often. The main argument against eating organic is how much more expensive organic foods are. A 2025 study done by LendingTree revealed that organic produce costs 52.6% more than conventional produce. In that report, they state that the average household spends $8,167 on food per year. If every item was switched to organic, that would be upwards of $12,462, or a difference of about $4,300 per year. For some, that may be doable, but for others, that may be devastating. So should we eat organic? First, if you are absolutely rolling in the dough, the answer is yes. There seems to be no downside of eating organic if money is not an issue. If your budget is tighter, that's where we need to get a little more practical. According to the current available research, it is much more impactful to add in a wide variety of fruits and vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and hydrate appropriately than it is to buy organic. If you already eat a well-balanced diet, switching some foods to organic will be more beneficial, assuming the extra financial cost doesn't cause you stress and raise your cortisol. Start with switching out fruits and vegetables, which seems to be the biggest bang for your buck, followed by whole grains, dairy, and finally meats. If you can't afford organic, clean your fruits and vegetables really well and potentially scrub them too. You can utilize something like baking soda to help, but understand that fruits and vegetables provide a lot of beneficial bacteria, so cleaning your produce too well may actually not be better. I want to hear from you guys if you eat organic in the comments below. And if you're looking to achieve peak performance in sport and life, then check out this video I made ranking the most popular supplements on the market.